Super Bowl Sunday. Tony got me out here in a fucking snowstorm. Look at that, snowstorm. But Tony said, no, we had to do it. We got to do it. You know, it's for the culture. Tony got me out in the snowstorm, driving an hour and a half away. So,
good interview coming up, though. Good interview coming up.
Matt, Kustom Kreastions. Stay tuned.
Back home to you.
What's up, everybody? It's Tony from the Summer Sundown Car Show.
And Jamie from Street Trends Metal Lot. And this is the Local Scene Podcast. And today we're here at Kustom Kreastions with Matt. So thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
for coming.
it.
Appreciate it. How did you get started in bodywork, paint? Well, like, what attracted you to that?
When I was 19 years old, I went to Assabet Vocational High School as a post-grad for Autobody because I was always into customizing cars and modifying them, whatever, and I just thought it'd be something I'd be interested in doing. So I went in there for Autobody, learned how to paint, became a painter, the head painter at a body shop real quickly, and not long after that I actually opened up my own shop.
When you went in there for Autobody, were you already into had an interest in customizing cars?
I had an interest in customizing cars. I didn't really know much about how to do it.
Yep.
At that point I was like, I had a mini truck and I was, reading Mini Trucking magazine and buying parts and bolt-on bumpers and stuff like that, but there was no customization or fabrication at that time. Actually, that was one of the first custom jobs I did was that truck, and we ended up putting a kit on it at that vocational high school.
Well, obviously, we're here at this beautiful shop that you have here.
Which I'm blown away by. I did not, this is a legit, I felt like I just walked into West Coast Custom.
It's pretty dope. It's a lot to take in, a lot of cool builds, a lot of under construction builds. We got a couple pictures of the NSX. We'll talk about that. I saw the 3D print, the scanning.
Yeah.
I saw that. We saw, the CNC. We saw all the stuff that you have upstairs. Where does the creativity come from?
I can't help myself. I look at something and I see how someone did it, and I think about how I could do it better. I just can't help myself. I do that all the time with everything. It doesn't, and even with the shop, I modify and change things all the time. Just, I don't know, just keep coming up with things.
Does your brain go a mile a minute? You look at a car and immediately think oh, they should have did this, that, and that?
Yeah, I can look at a car and I can pick it apart and I can think about things that I would do and how I would change it. And then the longer I look at it, I get deeper into it and I see more details and more things I would change. And then, on a project, by the end of it, that's when it all comes together and it all fits together like all the pieces to a puzzle.
Okay. When I think of you, I think of pretty much crazy wide bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I know, going back to the Integra and the BMW and stuff. Do you come up with an idea in your head? Take me through the process. Do you look at a car and I go, I have this idea of doing that, or do you just kind of go and come up with it?
It's crazy because if you compare it to how it was back in the day to how it is now, the game's changed. For me anyway, it's back in the day, it was kind of someone would drop the car off to me and they'd say, hey, I want a wide body, and we'd go at it. We'd make a form around the car, whether it be out of cardboard or wood. We'd pour the expanding foam. We'd sculpt the foam. We'd do body work over the foam. Spend countless hours trying to mirror it from side to side manually by hand. And what we came up with is kind of what it was. And that was, and people were just happy with that. But now, with the 3D scanning and the rendering process that we have now, the possibilities are endless, and we legitimately can really fine tune the design to whatever somebody wants.
Okay. So you can dial it into pretty much anything.
And the customer can take part in it too, and actually sit in the sessions and see what's going on, see the renders as we go. They're realistic renders, look like the real car, and see it from all the different angles and look at things, and it's good to look at it, and because you'll do it and you're like, wow, this looks sick.
Yeah.
And you have the pictures in your phone, whatever, and at least I do anyways. And I look at a couple days later, look at it again a couple more days later, whatever, and everything I thought looked good still looks good, but there's a few things I think should.
Okay.
And then you go back at it, you make those changes, and then you're like, yeah, that was it.
Almost like building a car in a video game and then bringing it to life?
Pretty much.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Did you go crazy with Need for Speed Underground when you were young?
Nah, I was never able to sit still long enough to play video games. I got the ADHD thing going. That's probably where the creativity comes from too, but I literally am just hands-on. I have to be hands-on, moving, getting something done, doing something. I can't sit still.
I'm
Same
Similar,
way.
I'm similar.
Yeah.
I got like a million projects at once, and I can never finish one.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is I have to like be disciplined because I know how I am, and if I like get away from a project, you almost forget
You don't
about
get
it.
back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I have to be like, just go, and just get to the finish line.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know exactly. I know exactly how you
I've
feel.
learned that over the years. I try to work around that.
We've known each other for what, almost 20 years now, right? I think we met in
At
like
least.
around 06.
It was 05, wasn't it?
Probably when you
05.
had that shitty Sebring.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So I first brought my Integra out was in 2005 when I opened up my auto accessory store.
Okay.
That's
So
when it was
I
silver
think
blue.
I think when I was doing the car show, I don't think you came the first year.
Mm.
I think you came in 2006 with the Integra.
Yeah.
The Integra was silver with the blue dollar signs.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we met? It was at New England Dragway.
Your car was green, right?
My car was green.
Yeah.
I remember walking around and seeing like a crowd of people, and I'm going, what's going on here? And people are talking to you and asking you questions about the car, and I started looking at the car, and I'm like, this is okay. All right, I got it. I see what's going on here.
And then obviously the car changed throughout the years. So like, where did it start, and how did you get to the green with the spinning doors, the wide body? Like, how did you get from the buying the Integra to where it went? Like, what made you go that far?
So when I first got the Integra, I just went at it, and that was I think in 2005, 2006 when I first did it.
Okay.
And I kind of just, I was still learning. I
Okay.
was still figuring things out. I still had a lot to learn.
Yep.
I thought I knew everything then, but I didn't.
Of course, yeah.
But I just kind of went at it with the parts I could find available in the market and what I could put together and make it look good. And it looked good, but then like after sitting back and looking at it, there was a lot of things I didn't like about it.
Mhm.
Kind of like with the rendering process.
Yep.
Except I did it and I had to look at it and I couldn't just change it quickly
You
like
did
in
it
a
on
render.
the vehicle,
Yeah.
basically.
So then I just went at the second round where I think I painted it silver. I don't know if I changed the taillights. I think at that point I changed the taillights and the headlights. Yeah, I converted to the Mercedes conversion, and I had that out for like I think a year maybe.
Okay.
And then I just came up with the idea for the wide body, and then I just went bananas with it. And yeah, that was a lot of work.
How was it installing the spinning doors? How did putting the car together? How was it that whole process?
It was a process. It was a whole thing of process. Like I remember sitting on a milk crate in my garage drinking a Red Bull at like 2 o'clock in the morning, looking at a suicide door hinge, looking at a Lamborghini door hinge, and I'm like, how can I make this thing go up and spin? And I'm like, oh, actually I want it to go backwards up and spin. Okay. And I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, first of all, I got to chop the doors in half because it won't clear the car when it spins. So I did that, and I welded that into the car to make it so you kind of like step down into the car. And then I was just thinking about the idea with the hinges and stuff, and I'm like, I put a little bearing in between two blocks that mount together with a shaft. The shaft comes up through and it has a gear on it. The gear goes to another gear that goes to a Power Wheel motor. I put a motor from a Power Wheel in that door, and it worked though. And literally, I had a little set screw for when the doors weren't spinning, and you put it in place, tighten it in, it wouldn't move. Close the door, operated fine, and when you wanted to put it up, just undo the set screw, and it just spun. Yeah.
So you said it was a process to put the car together. When you had it completely put together and you look back at it, were you like, were you blown away by what you did?
No, I wasn't happy with it.
I think
Really?
that car was like one of the cars, like when you think about like wow factor, that car had so much wow factor.
Yeah. It's just the only thing is like when you do something yourself, like like when
I
you
know
do your little
exactly.
project,
You
could
you
critique
know
it.
what you're happy with and what you're not happy with. There's things that like when someone looks at as a car as a whole, they see the whole car. There's so much being taken in, they don't see every little thing.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
also
mean?
when you do it yourself, you see all that.
Oh yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
and like that's with me, that's the type of stuff that like drives me crazy. Like I want it to be as
Yeah.
perfect as possible, but I've also learned you can only make it so perfect before you're just being a psycho.
Did you ever feel like in the process of doing that, like why am I doing this? I want to just give up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that car was down for like 2 years when I was doing that, the last version of it, because I was so busy with other people's cars. It was like a struggle to find the time,
Yeah.
and it just had to like kind of like almost like shut down for like a couple months to finish it when I finally got it done because there was no way to do it in between other jobs.
Yeah.
Was it minor things that you didn't like, or was it major things?
It was just minor things.
Minor things.
Like things that were done, and then after the fact, you look back and you're like, I could have did this a little bit differently. This could have been better. All in all, I liked the car. I thought it was wild. Like just also like my knowledge at the time when I first did it, a year later, I also learned a lot more too. So
Yep.
then looking back at it, I'm like, I could have did this differently. That could have been better, or whatever, you know.
Yep.
But like over the years, I just like every project I do, every customization I do, I pick up new tricks. I learn new things. I have ways of thinking about things. Like now with the whole CAD design and the rendering and stuff, I like to think backwards. So I think from the finish of the project to the start. So I'm already ahead of the game when we're getting into designing. Like we start designing a fender flare, or a bumper, or a side skirt, and I'm already like prepared for any issues with like mounting hardware, how we're line up, collision of other parts, whatever it may be. Like I'm already like thinking about that before we get to that point, because I've ran into enough issues along the way that I try to avoid those throughout the process.
You ever finish something like, say you do like a fender or something and then absolutely hate it?
Yeah.
And then you have to read
Yeah,
it. That's a lot of time to waste.
Yeah, I've stopped and just looked back and like, yeah, I'm not happy with this, and just change it up. A lot more so back then.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it was like
Trial and
error,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like kind of like it's your time. You're only being paid so much for it, and like you kind of go at it and you do the best you can, but sometimes it's not what it should be, and you just start from scratch. I don't hesitate to do that though. If I don't like the way something looks, I'll just redo it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like obviously I'm losing money at that point, but at the same time I take pride in my work, and I don't want to put something out there that's not going to be up to par with like whatever I've been doing in the past.
Well, it sounds like you're a perfectionist. You want it to be.
Try my
if
best.
it's representing
man.
you
Yeah.
want it to be perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Try my best. That's for sure.
And how long have you been doing body work and paint? How long have you been in business?
Since 2019, I started doing the paint work. I opened my business in 2005.
Okay.
I started as an auto accessory store, small auto accessory store, with a one-car garage off of it, and I had people who were coming in. At that time, I was working in a body shop from like 8 to 12, and then from 12 to 8, I was running my auto accessory store, and people knew the work I did on my own personal vehicle, so they'd buy like a body kit from me and ask me to do it.
Yep.
So I'd do that body work in that little garage, and then I'd take it to a body shop where I was working or somewhere else and rent time in a spray booth to paint the car. And I think it was like 2007, 2008, I ended up getting my own body shop in Marlboro. And
Nice.
that's where I just started full-fledged. The auto accessories just went out the window. I stopped doing it, and just strictly customization and paint work. Well, what I thought was customization and paint work back then. Like the customization compared to what I was doing back then till now is just night and day.
Yeah.
You know,
Do people realize how long it takes to
No.
get stuff, or they think like, oh hey, I'll drop off my car next month? I'll go
people
grab
people
it.
are unrealistic with their expectations, and they're also like they don't grasp the concept of what goes into it. And I deal with a lot of BS from time to time with people throwing shade and talking trash about how long things take or whatever, but they have no idea what it takes.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee like half the people around their mouth wouldn't even be willing to step up to the plate to put in that work that I actually have to put in to even make that happen, you know, like. But then the people who actually do see what's going on, they know what's going on, and they see what goes into it. They appreciate what goes into it, and they know. It's just some people just, I don't know, lack of education, lack of knowledge, I guess, you know.
So for anybody that would watch this, so if I wanted to come in and get my car, let's say customized in some way, shape, or form, how does someone go about getting a hold of you, and what's the process of start to finish? Like, hey Matt, I want to come by, I want to make a wide body kit for my Honda Accord. Like, you know, I feel like with social media,
Yeah.
they show you dropping the car off, and 3 days
Exactly.
later you're picking the car up.
Yeah, like a TV
And
show.
obviously that's not how it goes. And I feel like sometimes people get influenced by that, and they go, oh well, you know, this shop did this in 3 days, or this car, you know, they did this stereo, they did this in 3 days, they did that, but it actually took 2 months. They just shrunk it down. So like, again, if for somebody
Yeah.
watching this, explain the process of how you go about your business.
So the process would be, if a customer comes to me with an idea or something they want to do, it would start off by bringing the vehicle by the shop. We'd need to 3D scan the vehicle. After that, they can stay with their car. They can continue enjoying it while we're doing the customization. We then go to the rendering process, where we do the design work for it. For
Now,
styling.
you do the design work, you come up with the idea.
I have a guy who I work with that we do Zoom calls. He's actually in Portugal. We do Zoom calls, and we sit there and design to creatively design together. He's the one controlling the rendering software, but like I throw ideas, he throws ideas, we bounce things back and forth, and like we work real well together. And by the end of the session, sometimes you're like, God damn, that came out good. You know, that just comes together. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Like the NSX, that was a process. Like that was one of the most difficult designs that we came up with. Between my car, the BMW M6, and the NSX, the most time put into the rendering process. Because like we did this, we rendered this, and then I thought about it, and we went back and we completely changed everything we did. Like originally we were gonna do replacement fenders, replacement quarter panels, like full bumpers, all that stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with both on. So I went with a fender that, sits over, covers the fender, side skirt. Same thing with the quarter panel, covers the bumper. So it made less pieces to be made, but I still added in the body line for the bumpers and stuff, the seams.
Okay.
So it gives that detail, but I went with a more straightforward approach, and I'm happy that I did too, because comparing this to what the original one was, this is way better.
Okay.
So the NSX has been the most difficult car so far?
Yeah, pretty much. The most pieces anyways. I think we're at like 22 pieces in the wide body, and then if I add in 2 more parts that we were talking about making, it'll be upwards of it'll be 24, and if we count pieces that I skinned, it even goes higher with the customization. But we made every panel for that car. We made the roof, trunk, hood, front bumper, rear bumper, side skirts, quarter panels, fenders.
So everything's been touched?
Everything. Custom headlights, everything.
So it's safe to say you won't see another one like that?
No,
ever.
probably not. Unless somebody wants to buy the kit.
So do you do that at all? Get into like selling kits?
I would like to. It's just finding the people who are realistically ready to pay for what they're asking for. You know, I've had quite a few people call me about my wide body for my M6, and like, I didn't do it to sell it, and I really don't want to sell that kit. If someone's willing to pay me what I'm asking, I'll be more than happy to sell it, but I'm not going to give it away for free. Like, too many people are used to seeing like cheap kits on like Car ID or.
But what about like mass producing kits? Like,
I would like
order
to.
these from you? Is that something you ever thought of?
I wouldn't be able to handle that in house. I'd have to sub that work out somewhere
yeah.
else. It's too much. But I mean, I could do like a couple one-off kits.
Yeah.
I kind of think I want to lean more towards like small things like bolt-ons, like splitters, duckbill spoilers, fender flares, but nothing like overly crazy where it's so many pieces. Because like even this, I made all the fender trim. I made the hood louvers. I made the splitters, the rear diffuser, the exhaust tips, like all those extra little pieces. Like if it's just like a straight up flare kit, like, or bolt-on flares, like I would consider doing something like that. It's just finding the time to do it.
That's the biggest problem is time.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Time.
You got to balance between family and personal time also. You have to have your time for yourself.
Yeah, the Gallardo that I don't know, you guys will get pictures of, that was like the last one that we sculpted and built by hand. And at the tail end of that job, we did the accents, meaning like the fender vent, carbon fiber fender vents and quarters, the rear engine cover, those little trims, the exhaust tips, and the duckbill spoiler. That was all done with the 3D scanning and the CNC machining, but the whole wide body itself was sculpted and made by hand.
Well, that's incredible. I said when I was looking at it, for a few minutes before I even realized that it was wide body because it was done so clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost looks like that's exactly how it's supposed to come.
So much work trying to mirror it and get it from side to side. Where in the CAD software, like you design one side, and it mirrors it to the side.
Yeah.
So it's symmetrical, you know. And there's a lot of afterthoughts too. Like I don't know if you noticed the accents on the front bumper with the carbon fiber inlays. I did all those like after the kit was made. I decided to do that, so I made up carbon and skinned those areas for accents.
Okay.
Just to give a little bit more detail.
No, it looks awesome. You do the body work. You do, custom body work. You also do regular body work.
Yeah, we
right?
also do insurance repairs as well. Yeah.
Okay. And then, is that like your main work? Or is the custom stuff? The
custom stuff primarily is, it all depends. Like if I have too much custom stuff going on, I kind of like lean away from doing the insurance stuff if I'm too busy. But it is something that I'm trying to keep a flow of the insurance work coming through as well. To me, the insurance work is a lot easier than doing the custom work.
Yeah, okay.
That's for sure.
And then I see, so you're doing the 3D scanning.
Yep.
And the CNC. So this is all stuff that, did you train yourself or did you have to go for training? Or like, how did you learn how to, like, you know, I get a little program from my computer and I got to sit there for a week and try to just figure it out.
I bought it and dove in head first and figured it out.
So you just like trial and error
That's
taught
it.
yourself. So like, because he has that printer that he's trying to figure out too now.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I got a 3D printer coming as well, a big one as well. But yeah, pretty much just
you just get it and kind of go all in.
Somebody opened my eyes to the whole CAD process and you know, how that worked and all that stuff, and then I started looking into 3D scanning, and then I just kind of like, you know, bought the machine and just kind of figured it out.
Okay. And then so the 3D scanning must make the process a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
Instead of, like you were saying with the mirroring.
It's game
and stuff.
changing. Yeah. And then I also developed my own process with the way I machine the plugs and stuff like that out of EPS foam and stuff. I found a cost-effective way of machining large pieces without it being overly expensive just to buy the material to machine in the first place.
Okay.
That was a pain in the ass because that took a lot of trial and error. And the craziest part about it is, like, I went through all these different trial and error of trying to figure this out, and like legitimately, I had this 2-part gun that's from a company called Smooth On, and it was from years ago. I bought it for making molds quickly with expanding foam, and I used it a few times. I never used it again. It was hanging in the CNC room on the wall. Now this whole time I'm sitting there, and I'm like trying all these different ideas, and nothing's working out the way I want it to work. Whether it be too much dust being generated, the material's too hard, so I'm getting vibration with the end mill. If it's a long end mill to reach into deep cavities, that's one of the biggest challenges with what I do, is because the parts are complex, and I end up having to use really long end mills, and you'll get vibration and stuff. And like at the end of going through all this, I just looked up one day and the thing's hanging on the wall right in front of my face. And I'm like, I have a cartridge for that has 2-part foam. I think I could spray this over the EPFs and it would work amazing. And I tried it and it worked amazing. I'm like, oh, well, could have solved that problem a long time ago, you know, but I figured it out, so.
And then you're getting into the go-kart thing.
Yeah, so I'm building a go-kart for my son, yeah.
And that was just something that you had an idea of doing?
Yeah.
And then went all out.
Yeah, I bought it for him. We started doing it like a couple of years back. I got a little sidetracked. Life kind of sent me in a different direction for a little while, and then I just been plugging away when I have time to get it done. We finally got all the plugs done. Going to be pulling the molds pretty soon, and then making the body, and then it's hopefully he'll be able to have it out this year.
Yeah. So you're the owner of the shop, obviously. How big is your shop? Like, how many employees do you have? All that stuff.
I have me and 1 full-time employee, and then I have another guy who's part-time.
Okay, so you're hands-on on all the projects.
Pretty much everything. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
Stressful.
Stressful?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I like to focus on one thing at a time.
Yep.
That's where I work best, when I can just, you know, zone in on something and just focus on one thing. And it's actually very tough for me to try and juggle being creative with the custom stuff and also just get other stuff done in the meantime. It's always been a challenge.
So would you say it's like a love-hate?
Yeah.
You love what you do?
I honestly wish I could just be left alone and I could just work on one car at a time. Then I could really just, you know,
go crazy.
Just do my thing.
Yep.
You know, that's when I get down. Like, I just lock me in the garage by myself and leave me alone and just let me do what I do, and that's when it all comes together, you know. It's just when the distractions come in, it just sidetracks you and you just lose focus.
Do you like get lost in it and like you really enjoy it, or do you look at it as work? Like with me, when I'm like I did the welding, I you know, I could be out there all day, but I don't mind because I actually really like doing it.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, man.
Yeah, so you
I
just
actually
keep
love
going.
doing it. I mean, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people are like, wow, this is so much work. I'm like, well, you're already talking yourself out of it if you're thinking like that.
Well, a lot of people
man.
get burnt out. They don't want to do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? It's like a chore.
It's just got to get it done. You just got to do it. Don't
Yeah.
think about it. Just put your head down and don't look up till it's done, and just stay at it. You know, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning different things. I enjoy picking up different tricks, like just ways to solve problems. Because now, like, stuff that comes along with regular Autobody stuff, I'm like, oh, I'll fix that, no problem. Like, you know, it's like, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But no, I enjoy it, man. I really do. I get upstairs in my little workshop, I get in my zone, and I just start doing my thing.
That's
That's
a
like
cool area.
That's like my favorite place to be. Is up there.
It's just like, it was cool just standing in there. Like, wow, this just feels like just a cool like vibe in there.
Yeah.
Tons of carbon fiber. So is that another thing? Like, you do one-off carbon fiber pieces.
Yeah.
Is that something that people can just order from you and have made?
Yeah, I can make custom splitters, like, you know, splitters, duckbill spoilers, fender flares. I could do carbon accents for interiors, fender trim. In a lot of cases, like, people are spending a lot of money on aftermarket hoods just to get some louvers and stuff in their hood.
Yeah.
The fitment's crap, and they're wasting a ton of money. Like, where we could 3D scan their hood, we could design like pretty much flush mount louvers or vents that would install into the hood, carbon fiber, and actually kind of like mine. And, you know, I didn't have to change the whole hood. I just used the factory hood and added that little accent to it.
I know. I remember back in the day, I had like one of 4 carbon fiber hoods that they made for my car,
Yeah.
and the fitment was like it had gaps and was crooked
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So if I had, you know, a car that you can't get a hood for, you can pretty much do that.
Absolutely. And if you had a car that had a kit on it, say for instance like an old school Y body on like an RX-7 or something like
Yeah.
that, and somebody hit it and damaged one fender, if you have the other fender,
Oh,
I
you
could
could
3D
scan
scan the
it.
fender.
Oh, so then there you go,
and
yeah.
have it
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
No
other
kidding.
side.
Yeah, and you could
I didn't even
duplicate
think
it.
of that. That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, and you could also just show me a picture of something from way back in the day if you got your heart set on something like a kit you seen when you were a kid,
Yep.
and they don't make it anymore. And like as long as we have good pictures of it, we can get the styling pretty damn close to where we can like duplicate that kit.
I just read online the other day that like the Blitz kit from the Fast and Furious
Yeah.
Eclipse, that you can't buy those anymore, and people want them.
I just saw something on Facebook where some guy was selling off a whole like inventory
The
of,
rep- oh,
of,
really?
of all
Oh,
those like those kits, like a whole like, I think they used
yeah.
to sell them or something.
I think I know some guy bought a warehouse that had like 200
Exactly.
Civic kits
Yes,
and stuff.
he was
yeah.
trying to dump them all. Yep.
I did see that.
Yeah, they probably don't fit, but
Well, those kits back in the day were horrible.
I remember what Sensei Motorsports. When I first opened up my auto accessory store, like they had like a special. It was like 5 kits for like $5.99. How do you even do that?
I remember my car had it was a modified Honda Accord kit that they did, and dude, I had a gap on this side on my side skirt, and the other side was like all the way in. It was like
And that shit ass car was beating me at shows. Can you believe that?
That's
Yeah, I can
right.
believe
That's
that.
that's a rumor around town. I heard he used to always beat
every
you.
show.
the
I
only one telling that
I
story.
think he's gonna remind you every
The
time.
only one
you
telling
ask
that
him.
story is him.
Everybody
The
knows.
only one telling
Everybody
that
knows.
story is
That
him.
car sucked.
Nobody else remembers that but him.
But
Yeah.
even looking back at my Stratus, I remember I thought that thing was great, and I remember going to World of Wheels, and when you had this, the Integra was silver, right?
Yeah,
And
probably
you did
so,
the World
yeah,
of Wheels
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah,
Do you remember it was like a Young Guns award or something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Dude, I remember.
So explain
I
to
was-
him what the Young Guns
So the
award
Young
is.
Gun Award was like for the best car for somebody under the age of 26,
Yeah.
something like that. And I remember being like, I'm getting this. And I remember I'm like, you won that thing.
No, I think
positive.
I got outstanding engineered and master builder.
Or whatever it was. It was somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was under
Yeah.
26. And I remember
Yeah.
thinking, I'm like, I'm getting that. And then I remember losing. I was like,
I got it upstairs if you want it.
oh, see, I gotta get
You
it.
can take it now. You can take
You
it
have
now.
it, bro.
I was
You
like,
have it.
but then and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have got that fucking car.
Yeah.
That thing.
The best thing I ever did when it comes to shows is stop competing. You don't enjoy it when you're competing. You don't you just can't enjoy like what brought you into it is the car.
So
Your
so
love
you
for-
don't
for
compete.
cars.
You just like go and hang out. Now
I just
and
go and
that's
hang
it?
out.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Did you with that the green car? Did you ever show up and not win? I feel like that thing was taking things home. all
I
the time.
I did pretty well with that car for a long time.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. I actually got a lot of hate because of that car. People got mad because it kept winning, but that's when I decided to stop.
If the car deserves to win, the car deserves to win. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be mad. No one could walk to the car and be like, "Oh, why is this winning?" No one in their right mind should
Yeah.
have said that. You know what
Well,
I mean?
you have people that love cars that are over the top,
Yeah.
and then you have people that hate cars.
Oh,
that are over the
I
top.
actually got so much hate because of that. Like, so many people talking shit. Like, to each his own is what I say. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
somebody's into it, they're into it. Like, me personally, I like my M6 way better than I like the Integra. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to enjoy the Integra. It was strictly for show.
Yeah.
Like, it served its purpose, but I didn't enjoy it. And at the end of the day, that was my hobby. That was my passion, you know? So I was only enjoying half of my passion, you know?
Yep.
So.
Did you drive that thing at all?
No.
No.
Never
I told
drove
you.
it.
That's
Never
what he was
drove
saying,
it, dude.
It got trailered.
It
I
got
was like,
trailered everywhere. It was a pain in the ass to get in the trailer because it was too fucking wide. You barely fit. I literally had to like look out, have someone looking on both sides, and I think I had like a 1/4 inch on each side to get in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Do you still enjoy going to the shows now, though?
Yeah, I mean, I go to certain shows, more cars and coffees, like some
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
cruise nights, whatever, like meets, whatever, like.
I prefer cars and coffees now.
Yeah.
I feel like you get in and out, and then you go hang out, and then you don't have to be there all day.
Yeah. Some people ask me if I drive this car all the time. I'm like, I'm gonna drive this car till the wheels fall off. That's what it's for. It's to enjoy.
I was saying on the way here, I'm like, wow, this guy drives his car this far.
Yeah, dude, I don't care, man. I enjoy it.
That's what he built it for.
Yeah. You
That's
got to
what he built it
drive.
I get in. I don't want to stop. I remember when I first got it done. Like me, my girlfriend, her family has a house down the Cape, and like it was like the first week I got it done. And, like I was going down there to go for the weekend or whatever, and I just got it done. And I was like driving down, and with my son or whatever. And we got to the house. He went inside. He laid down and went to bed. I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna go get some ice cream. I'll be back in a little bit. And I just wanted to drive. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know, just driving.
Get lost. Go get lost.
I got some catching up to do. It's been a couple of years, you know. I want to enjoy
Do
this.
kids show the same like passion for the cars?
My son does at times, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm building the go-kart for him. Trying to help me throughout the process, give him something bring to the shows, and
Do you want them to get into it?
I mean, if he likes it.
Yeah, you don't force
Yeah,
him.
I won't force him, but I think he'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's too used to playing video games and like.
Put video games in the
Oh,
in the
man.
go-kart.
I have him help me, like we were making the splitters for it, and he went upstairs and he helped me for like 20 minutes. He's like, "Are we done yet?" I'm like, "Dude, we're just getting started, bro. We got a long way to go. You want this thing to be done? You better put in some work. I'm not gonna do it all,
Yeah.
I'm doing most of it though.
So let's switch gears a little bit. We haven't talked about the BMW. What made you go BMW route this time?
I don't know. I had the 650 before, and I liked it, and I sold it. I didn't have a car for a number of years when I first bought this property. I was putting money into the building, just too busy with other people's cars and stuff. And I wanted to get the M6, and I just decided to go with it. I liked everything about the car except for that body line on the door, and it really bothered me.
Okay.
Like absolutely bothered me to the point that I was gonna like eliminate that in a sense with the design that we made for the first version. But the way that we styled the kit now, it doesn't bother me anymore. It all flows together. That was the one thing I didn't like about it. But other than that, I love the car. I really want to put it next to a stock one, just to compare the two, like width-wise, like just to see it, because I see this every day. So like to me, it's
normal,
regular. Yeah,
it's normal.
Like, but to like actually see it next to a stock one and be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, to see the differences.
Yeah, sure.
Now, was this all in the future plans, or was this something you just decided, like, I'm going to build a kit for my car to have as a showpiece when I go to the Cars and Coffees and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
show
bought
what
it,
you can do.
I bought it to customize it and enjoy it and show what I could do, and just kind of went at it. I couldn't be more happy with how it came out, honestly. Like,
Nice.
At first, our first version, I almost felt under pressure. I was trying to juggle so many other things and try to be creative after hours when we're on our Zoom meetings and try to like get the styling done so I could get it out. And it would look good, but it just wasn't. It didn't sit right with me,
Yeah.
And then I kind of got sidetracked with some other stuff, stepped away from it a little bit. We came back at it, and I was like, you know what? Like, forget about the replacement of the bumpers. Forget about the replacement of the fenders, quarters. We do something that works with it. Makes less work for me, but it's going to be clean and it's going to flow with the car. And I think we nailed it, honestly, like with the flares and the quarters and everything. Like, I've had so many people comment on how like it looks custom, but it looks like it belongs there and it flows. It doesn't look out of place. Where a lot of kits that people build, they just look like
Gaudy.
yeah, or like something's overlooked or a detail was forgot. I drive my renter guy crazy because I literally I go back with him and I'm like, dude, let's change this. He's like, dude, it looks so good. I'm like, can you just change that, please? And then we change it. He's like, all right, you're right. Like, I'm always right, dude. He's like, shut up. But like, we killed it. One thing I probably would have changed if I did it again was I would have made a skin for the door too, just so there was another bolt-on panel there. But it doesn't really need it. I think it came out pretty good.
Any other future plans for this one?
Yeah, so I've been working on the trunk. I made a custom air ride tank for the trunk that looks like an old school missile.
Is it okay?
That's
Yeah, we
what's
saw
up
that.
there. That's
He
what's
said-
up
he
there.
said,
I
I
told
think that's
you.
an
And then
arrow.
I made a forged carbon floor for the trunk, which I have the diamond stitch floor mat. So I think what I might do is throw that forged up on the CNC, and we're gonna set up a tool path that gives the diamond stitch, like the pattern, and then I'll reapply the epoxy clear and put LED lights to come from underneath. So when you open the trunk and the lights turn on, it glows through the forged. That's one of my ideas, anyways. But I'm also considering doing some other forged panels that finish off the trunk, because I'm doing a really nice M3 for one of my customers, and we're doing a full carbon fiber trunk install. We're doing a rear seat delete carbon fiber and an engine cover, and I kind of got my wheels spinning on what I could do on my trunk as well. Yeah.
This thing definitely, it definitely gets attention when it pulls in.
Yeah.
Do you ever get work based off of this because people see it?
Yeah. It's random though. Like, I'll talk to a lot of people. A lot of people will tell me they're gonna come through, and then they just like.
Oh, you a lot of tire kickers.
Oh yeah,
you
a
get
lot of,
that.
and at shows there's a lot of those guys. I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna come through. It's like, all right, get the fuck off.
Oh,
You know, like you say it to me once, cool. You say it to me 10 times, I don't even want to hear it anymore. You're distracting me from another potential customer. I'm never rude, but it's like,
Oh yeah.
like.
So you've done this. You've done the Lamborghini. You're doing the NSXs. Has there been a car that like you haven't done yet, but you really want to do? That you think of like, oh, I really want to do like a custom one of these.
I don't know, man. I have a ton of ideas. It's just they change from week to week.
Yeah.
Like as far as one specific car right now, not off the top of my head.
So there's no car that you see. And
I
you're like,
do
would
I
love to
do
something
long
like that.
term. I do want to create my own kit car, but I want to create my own kit car, meaning like take a car that's on the market already available, whether it be like a GTR or something like that, Corvette, whatever, and like legit scanning the chassis with everything off of it,
Whole new body.
and then make a whole new body
Yeah,
that
that
just
would be
bolts
crazy.
on to it though, so it eliminates all the bullshit that comes with kit cars with
Yeah.
having to piece together all the mechanical stuff and brakes and all
Yeah.
that. You could literally just buy the kit, have a competent body shop install it, and you've got a nasty looking car with all the
That'd be
headaches,
crazy.
you know. So
yeah.
I'd like to do that in due time.
Let's
for
go check
having
out the
us.
shop.
Gotta find my joint up on this bitch. I miss you. Few times. Yeah.
What is going on? We'll kind of go around it. What is going on here?
So
so-
that's a custom trunk skin I made for a Honda Accord. I did a roof skin for the kid. I also did a rear window spoiler, and he's got the trunk lid now. It's actually made to just bond right over his factory trunk lid, so you don't have to replace his whole trunk.
No shit.
So yeah, it's all sanded down now because I'm getting ready to put a flow coat on it to smooth it up.
So if it just, it's kind of like a cover, right? Almost.
skip glues
Does that
over it.
does that help on the price?
Yeah, well, it saves the time for having to make the mold on the inside.
So you
as
don't have to
well.
make a whole. Okay.
Yeah. So it makes it more cost effective. Like if I mean, in a lot of cases, like somebody's not really trying to make their car any lighter.
Yeah, they just want the look.
Yeah, you know, like, but they and then they spend all this money on a trunk that like it doesn't fit right, and
Yep.
you know, this is done with the 3D scan.
Oh yeah. I
and
mean, Tony had a
CAD
lot
design.
of parts that didn't fit right on his car. I remember.
That's
You were talking earlier.
That's why you used to always beat them.
Judges were blind. That's what happened.
Yeah, this is like a little project I'm doing. I want to start making door plaques for exotics, little carbon fiber pieces. So this is a positive. So once I'm done hand sanding this, I'm working on that to treat the foam. It's high density foam. Once I'm done sanding this, I'll be able to pull a mold off this and then duplicate it. I make these out of carbon fiber.
So this is all foam.
Yeah, it's high density foam board. I think like 15-pound density.
That's all stuff you have to order.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you can't just go somewhere. and
4
get
by
it,
8
right?
sheeted. That's like $600.
It's like the part that people don't really understand is
Yeah.
like the materials alone cost
Oh yeah,
a lot of money.
And
you
then
know?
the time, the CNC machining time. Like I don't,
Yeah.
when I give a price, I don't charge people for the machining time. Like some pieces that I do, it's like 30, 40 hours of machining.
Jeez.
You know, like I don't charge like an hourly rate for that. I just give a price on what we're doing, and
Yeah.
that's it. You know, I'm actually able to pass those savings on to people, because if I was actually paying a machine shop to do it, it'd be crazy. And if I was paying for somebody to 3D scan it, that would add up too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my price would be way more than what it is. But I still got the little birds chirping that say I'm too expensive.
So what is going on over here? I miss.
Oh, this is my random little experiment. So this is like a little hood display that I made a mold, but I'm playing around with different effects. So these are actually glow in the dark additives that I put into the carbon fiber. This
that's
one
really
and this
cool.
one. If you want to hold it up, I can actually flip off the light and you can see it. Trying to just keep bringing different stuff that nobody's done yet. Oh,
Holy shit.
That's dope.
That's
So-
some send off night show
you're
stuff
right.
right
So
there.
my son's go-kart, I think, is going to get that.
Oh,
that
this
green
one glows in the dark too. That one.
Yeah, that was another experiment.
Dude, that's crazy. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is stuff that I've never seen.
It's never been done.
So did you come up with that, or
Yeah,
you saw
I-
something?
No, I
or-
came up with it.
Yeah. See, that's.
See, I thought it was just green.
Yeah, that's what.
I thought it was
That's-
just green.
that's-
Can I touch it?
You can touch it. It's another trial and error. So like that's me playing around with
Look at
like
this.
with different things to try and figure out the best process to it. And now what I came up with is this is the best way to do it. You know, these two right here.
That's
I think it's kind of cool with that white flake in there too. Anyways, like where it lights
I mean,
up
this
blue.
looks awesome anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
The
And then,
green.
so what's this?
I like-
this
I
is
like
the
that.
That's just
gold?
like some gold flake in there. You know, those are the roof box brackets.
Do you
I
still
made.
do a lot of like the traditional carbon fiber stuff?
I do.
Because it seems like most people now are doing
Yeah,
this
the
stuff or the honeycomb.
Forge or the honeycomb. I hate honeycomb.
I said that. I don't like the
hate it,
look.
dude. I hate it.
I like this stuff.
It looks cool, but it's a pain in the ass to work with if you're skinning stuff. If you're
Yeah.
like infusing it, hey, whatever. But like to skin stuff with it, it's like raised up, so
Yeah.
you have to put so many coats of epoxy over it to get it to level out. It adds so much work to like what you're doing.
Yeah,
This is
so cool.
this is actually a steering wheel. So I found a little mini steering wheel for my son's go-kart.
I thought that was. I was gonna
It
say. I
is.
thought it was for the go-kart.
It is. So I found this in the UK, and I stripped off the leather though, and I skinned it with forged carbon, and then we designed the center of the steering wheel to look like a Huracan steering wheel. So we actually made the center. I gotta finish putting the base in it, but so I'm making him his own little miniature steering wheel.
So this is the air tank.
Yeah.
So did you, with this air tank, did you build this
So
to look like a bomb, or was it? Did you find something?
I
make it?
originally had a CAD design made up, and I was going to source them and have them made in China. It was at the time when the balloon thing was going on with China, and then they were like, "We can't send you something that looks like a bomb." So like that idea went out the window, and then I was just kind of like searching around online, and I found a guy who makes dummy bombs for man caves. So I ended up buying one of his dummy bombs, which is just a hollow metal shell with the fin and with a cone on it. And I cut those pieces off, which I could have had those, I could have made those, but it was easier to do it. So I cut off the section here, on the other one, and here, and I just took an argon tank, and I welded them onto it.
No kidding.
And then I took the filler neck, and I put 3 ports.
That's
on
yeah.
it.
That's what when I walked by, I saw.
I made it. So it's gonna be like this on a perch coming out of my trunk, mounted on the floor, and then the air ride controller is gonna be right here.
That
Manifold.
looks sick.
You know what I mean? Just something different. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about airbrushing like the eyes with the shark teeth on it, like the old school friggin'. Just something different. Like you walk around that car and you go to the trunk and you look inside. You're like,
Oh
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck is that?
No, that's cool.
Any particular reason why you wanted it to look like a missile?
I don't know. It's just fucking
something
around.
different?
Yeah, just fucking around. Just came up with an idea. Just went with it. This is the rear diffuser for my son's go-kart. These are the side splitters.
These are go-kart pieces.
Yeah. There's a piece from a wing I'm doing for another customer. And then that's the stuff for the NSX. Right now, the forged carbon, it's mid-process right now.
Yeah, this rear diffuser is crazy.
Yeah, it's getting it's just coated now. I have to hand sand it. It's a process, man. I infuse them, then I sand them. I do a flow coat of epoxy over them. Then I have to reblock them down, get them nice and smooth. Then I go over them with a clear coat. Let me get the projector. I'll show you what they're gonna look like. These obviously have to be sanitary cleared, but so we came up with the design for the headlights, and so we rendered it, and then I came up with the solution for making it. So I saw it out and found the best universal projector light I could find that would work with it, and we styled the opening on the light around it. So just made my own
that looks
custom
awesome.
headlight. Yep. And then these have like a little clear strip in there. You see these are going to be the daytime running lights, and they're going to be turn signals as well.
Oh, no shit.
And these mount on the openings of the bumper.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I can't wait to see this car.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to. Yeah, I can see it now.
Another example of like only one in the world.
Yeah, it's everything on this car is one off, every single piece. Yeah.
And this is all
Yeah.
stuff that's
Yeah, some interior pieces for a Gallardo, some mirror covers for an Accord, and honeycomb. I hate honeycomb. I'll say that again. That's the front splitter for my son's go-kart. The downdraft sanding table right there. Friggin' trimming up carbon. Slowly but surely.
so a piece like this right here,
Yeah.
is that's something that you just kind of measure out and make yourself, or do you have an idea, or is it this like an existing one that you modified?
No, this is everything on this table is made from scratch. So
Okay.
this was designed in the rendering software and then designed in CAD to work with the rear bumper, the custom rear bumper that we made for the NSX. So everything on this table right now is designed to scale to work with the NSX. This was actually a 3-piece mold. Oh, sorry, four-piece mold. The bottom was 3 pieces. It seamed off right here, and there was that little center section, and it seamed off over there, and then there was the mold for the whole top. So I had to make that in 2 sections that bond together. It's like one of those things, like I said with the challenges. Like I go at something, I run into a challenge, I just overcome it and just keep going, and then after that, I've already figured out how to get around it, and it just makes things easier down the road. So this is the vacuum bag for vacuum bagging. It's what pulls down the material tight to the mold. This is a flow media, so you have to have this in between the vacuum bag. Then there's a peel ply. No, sorry. There's a peel ply that goes onto the carbon. and you have the flow media, which allows the resin to flow underneath the vacuum bag, and then the vacuum bag goes on top of it. Because if not, once it gets vacuumed and it gets wet, the resin won't flow through the bag. Yeah, so there's steps to it. Then there's the little hoses that I have to clip into it and everything else. This is when you know I'm fucking nuts. It's not done yet, but I built a spray booth into the wall for clear coat in small carbon pieces. I ended up getting this little airbrush cabinet, and I had it kicking around. And when I put up the wall, I'm like, yeah, it'd be dope to have a fucking little spray booth in the wall. So I built it into the wall. I got ducted outside, but I made this so there won't be a draft. So I made a little bulletin board to put over it. It works, right?
Hell yeah.
This is Matt from Kustom Kreastions Autobody. In front of you, you got my daily driver. I drive it to work every day. A couple of dings and dents, but I take good care of it. Shines up real nice.
All right, so what do we got going on over here?
So this is the custom NSX wide body, custom hood. I changed up the hood because I got so sick of seeing the hood that everybody has on these things. And I think it's just like a watered down looking like hood. So I went with something completely different than anyone else had. We did away with the flip up headlights. We did custom mount headlights that are gonna be forged carbon, custom front bumper. It's gonna have carbon fiber streaks across here with built-in blinkers. We did the custom fender flares, the forged carbon vents, did the side skirts that tie in with it. All the seams, all the parts are both on, but all the seams are flush. I want to do something nice and clean as well. Seams up really nice with the quarter panel. I did a custom rear diffuser, which isn't on the car right now. Side splitters, custom duckbill spoiler, forged carbon accent with that as well. Forged carbon fiber roof skin.
Oh, this was the roof. Remember he was talking about the roof?
And then also we did the door skins as well. Every panel on the car has been replaced. And these roof skins are made direct replacement. So like if somebody else has one of these and they want one for, standard carbon, I can make a standard carbon Kevlar honeycomb. Tony likes honeycomb. It can be made for whatever this. Any NSX to go directly on. I can also make roof skins for any type of vehicle if somebody wanted to do it. Endless possibilities.
What's the time? What do you think, time frame wise, it'll take you to
probably
finish
like
this?
2 more months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give it 2 weeks for the paint to set up.
Yep.
And then I gotta wet sand it and buff it, and then start reassembling. I gotta wire up the headlights. I gotta relocate the fuel filler neck because I did away with the fuel door.
Yep.
Couple odds and ends and stuff like that, but it'll be coming together real nice.
Wow.
Now, when did this project start?
I think it's going on about 2.5 years between the changes to the design, my schedule, my render guy's schedule. It took us quite some time to get the design locked in. We got the CAD work done and we got through the process, and now it's once I got all the files, it's full speed ahead.
So this should be out this summer.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see this.
100%.
I think these are cool enough anyway, and to see like the work.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
100%
awesome.
will be out. Did so much work went into this, bro. Like these are things that people will overlook, right? Like this, right here. I hand laid this. I made the quarter panel. We machined that and I made that, but I actually hand laid these pieces in here. I did the hand lay up for the seam in there. We connected this. This is the factory fender. We modified it to come down. We built the side skirt up to it so it has a nice clean seam, so there's no random gap in there. We moved between with their seam up, so everything's clean. Instead of it, like that would be an eyesore if it had that gap right there.
Yeah.
So I took care of all that. And I modified around the taillights. I extended it. I rolled it down around the taillight edge. I blocked it back and I made it correct. I modified this line as well once it was already made because it wasn't up to par with what I wanted it to be. I put the taillights in. I corrected the body line underneath the taillight so everything flows in. With the trunk lid, like we eliminated the stock, it had like a ABS little vent that was bolted onto the trunk lid.
Okay.
We eliminated that. We actually changed the styling of the trunk lid, 100%. It's a custom trunk lid. And then another challenge I had was the way that we styled it. The factory trunk lid just usually sits back and it sits on top of the taillight. We made it come out to be flush with the taillight and come down to the edge of the taillight. So with opening the trunk, it was a clearance issue. So I modified it and I made my own pieces and extended it out, and I made it where it sits pretty much flush, but as you lift it, it clears the taillight, so it fits up. But other than that, it would have been colliding. We're getting ready to 3D scan this Audi all road for a custom wide body. I'm gonna scan the front right now. So I'll start with the bumper right here. So you know how I said I have problems with leaving anything alone? I bought this cart and I put that screen on it so it was easier for me to 3D scan and see what I was doing. Because looking at it like a little laptop screen, it's hard to see everything. And with me,
You had to add the TV.
yeah, I did that so it's more visible.
How long did it take you to figure this out?
Not too long. The biggest challenge was figuring out that certain colors don't show up on the with the scanner, so you have to have a scan spray. The first car we scanned was a white Mercedes CL65, and we did a Prior Designs Y body on it, but he wanted splitters, and when we were trying to scan it, the scanner wouldn't pick up the color. It was like it just kept like kicking it back. Like, what the fuck is going on with this thing? Like, it was the first time I used it. This is just broken. What's going on? It was because it didn't like the color. Like, so like this has Expel over it, the paint protection.
Okay, yep.
And the scanner doesn't like that because it's got clear and then it's got the Expel on top of it, and it's like bouncing the light back and it doesn't pick it up. So I had to spray it with the scan spray as well.
Oh shit.
To get it to pick it up. The cool thing about this is like I can scan it with the pieces on the car, the fender or whatever, and then you can scan it with the new wheels on the car, and you can design your wide body to fit to it precisely. This is it's a repair actually. Like the quarter panel got damaged, and I have to repair the quarter panel on the front bumper.
So nothing custom, just
Nothing custom, just a repair. I've actually been doing a lot of repairs on these other cars, like splitters and stuff, carbon fiber.
Yep.
Rear bumpers and stuff, if they have the forged carbon or regular carbon.
So if you do this, like say that has a carbon fiber lip from the factory,
Yep.
is it more cost effective for you to
Yeah,
do it? Or then go
I've
to
saved people a lot of money.
Yeah, so that helps, I guess.
I just did a Huracan Performante rear bumper for a guy. I think the bumper was like $8,000 to $9,000. Brand new.
This thing's gonna look crazy.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's gonna be wide. Like,
And these are the wheels.
yeah.
Now were these custom made for this?
Yes. Those are, I don't know if you noticed, those are a mini version of my wheels.
Oh yeah. That's fucking awesome.
And they're directional too, so they fit the go the same way.
That's
I like
really,
the
really
brakes in
cool.
the back.
Yeah, those are little motorcycle brakes with the calipers. I was telling him I'm having adapters made, and then when I have the adapters made, they're gonna machine the face of the adapter so the rotor bolts onto the adapter. It's on air. Put a 300cc ATV motor in it. Put an air shifter on it. This is the custom Gallardo wide body we did, which consisted of a custom front bumper, fender flares, door skin add-ons, side skirts, quarter panel, fender vents. The rear engine cover, we did a little lower vents and the upper vents. Custom duckbill spoiler, rear bumper, exhaust tips, the rear vents, trim, all that. It's all custom made on this car as well. We did it with the approach to make everything flow and look like it belongs there in its factory when it's not.
This thing is so sick.
How's family life?
It's good.
Good.
It's good. I just got a new full-time employee, so I'm hoping to have a little bit more free time for myself and my family. A lot of times I get stuck doing a project or having a deadline or something like that where I end up working crazy hours just to try and get it done.
Yep.
And I just kind of want to start changing the way that goes down and try to avoid that. Take a little bit more time for myself and my family.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Now Jamie touched on it real quick about your son.
Yep.
You obviously have sons and daughters, right?
Yep.
Okay. How do you take them to shows or Cars and Coffees with you?
My son goes with me. my little one Lily, she's gone a couple times with us, but it's tough to put her car seat in the back of my car and then put her power wheel in the. We went to a couple of events where like we legit pulled up with the top down with her in her car seat and her pink power wheel sticking out the back seat. I'm like, I gotta go to like Harbor Freight or buy one of those little racks for the back and put on a trailer hitch or something because this isn't working. But she likes going too, so we.
Do they ever criticize your work?
What?
Like
the kids? Oh,
like
my son.
I'll make something. Sometimes my daughter's like,
Dude,
"Wow, Dad, that's real ugly."
My son hates on me just to try and get me going. He's like, "Yeah, your car's all right. It's not that great though, Dad." I'm like, "All right, bro." I'm like, "Whatever, man."
But if you give him the keys,
Yeah,
I'm sure he'd take it for.
No, then we'll be at an event and we'll be like, "This car's so crazy. I love this car." I'm looking. I'm like, "What'd you say, buddy?"
As a business owner who's really hands-on with two shops, how do you juggle family life, shop, and yourself? Like, how do you?
It's tough, man. I mean, the convenience of me having, so I have my body shop up the street where I do my paint work and I deal with the insurance companies and stuff. But my fabrication and my CNC machining, that's all done at my garage on my house.
Yep.
So I'm actually able to like come out on the weekends when I do have my kids and we're doing something like just for like 30 minutes, I'll throw something on the CNC machine and have it running.
Yep.
If I know I have like a bunch of parts I need to machine, like I'll just sneak out for 30 minutes, set up the tool path, walk away, come back in like 6 or 7 hours when I know I switch over to the next one, switch that over and keep going and just go back to doing what I'm doing, which is convenient because if I had to drive somewhere else to go do that, it wouldn't happen, man.
Yep.
Yeah, having the shop here is convenient. That's exactly how. I mean, I can walk. My shop's like 50 feet. I thought I had an awesome shop until I came in here.
There's been some
But
projects.
it definitely it's awesome. The fact that you can go in and out of the house.
There's been some projects where like it was like a deadline that was, it was missed because the CAD guy I was working with at the time, and he set me way back, and like I just had to get it done, like legit, like coming out to the garage at 2 or 3 in the morning just to switch over the machine because it's the difference between me getting 2 parts done the following day or one.
Yeah.
It's like when you only got so much of it.
Depending on where the shop is, you could lose a half hour just going there.
Oh yeah, easy.
Your job is to make other people happy by getting their cars and driving. What makes you happy? Like what part of the process makes you happy? Is it seeing the customer's reaction when they see the car finally done? Or do you like sitting down with the CAD guy or like just coming up with the idea in your head and going, that's...
So that's a tough question because it all depends on the scenario, on the job and the situation. If it's like something's being rushed or there's a deadline or if it's just like the laid back approach. I personally like to take the laid back approach because you can't rush things if you want them to be right.
Yep.
A lot of times I get rushed, so I just have to do what I have to do, but I just, I prefer to take the laid back approach and just stay at it. But I do enjoy doing it though.
Okay.
I like seeing it through. I like seeing it when it's done. I like just seeing people's reactions when it's done. Just checking off my list. Like I have this thing where I like to challenge myself.
Yep.
And it's a great idea when I come up with it, and then from the start all the way to the end, I question why I started doing it because I'm torturing myself throughout the process. But then when I get to the end, it's like that's why I did it.
Yep.
And that's when it's like it is what it is. So I just suck it up through the whole process, just do it. But it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's got to be a satisfying feeling though, like when the owner comes in and sees their car for the first time.
Geeks out.
It's like they must get so excited. I would be pumped.
There's a lot of things I do that like it's a lot of stuff on a project I do. I don't even get paid for some of the stuff I do. I want to see it through. So I'm there and I'm like looking at a detail. I'm like, if I don't do this, it's not gonna look right with this, whatever. And I'll put that extra time in just to make sure that when that thing leaves, it looks like it should. Like something's not overlooked.
So then, all right. So say somebody brings something. Hey, I want this. You give them the price. Do you ever kind of go overboard just because you have like, maybe you might be like, oh, I want, we agree on this, and then something pops in your head and you're like, I actually think this might look better. Do you ever just do it? Just an example like me. Somebody one time, people order things from me, and as I'm starting to build, I'm like, oh, this would look better, and I don't charge them for that, but I do it anyway. I think it looks better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like, and like on the NSX, there was we came to an agreement on a price, and then like in the design process, like me and my design guy, this is my render's Pedro, we got carried away with details.
Okay.
And then like it's all fun and games when you're sitting down looking at a computer screen and you're designing it. It's a whole different ball game when you have to make it, But like we designed it, we made it, what it was supposed to be, and it was like, all right, well, fuck it. Just one choice, just get it done.
So looking down the road, do you think you're going to be doing just entirely automotive stuff, or like with all these toys, making, like I could see making signs or something like that?
Oh yeah, so I mean, I'm not limited just to automotive. I could do stuff for people. You know, people want speaker pods for their boats,
Yep.
custom bags for Harleys, whatever. I actually have a Triumph for doing a custom front fairing, speaker cluster that goes inside the front fairing, and custom bags for. I'm not limited to just any specific thing, but I could definitely see me doing other random stuff. Like, I don't know, I used to do a birthday, for my son's birthday party, we started doing haunted houses for his birthday, because it was in October. And it started out as like something really small that I did in my basement. And by the last time I did it, it was a haunted carnival theme out in my yard. I got a big 40 by 20 tent. I had a 13-foot tall clown face that you walk through his mouth to get into the thing. And I machined it on my CNC. And we made it, and I painted it, and like I had it all set up. We had friggin' game set up with like prizes to be won and stuff. That's like awesome. That. It was a blast. I had a good time. But
so did you make this?
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did. And now with the 3D printer that's coming, there's going to be a whole lot more randomness of like that going on. I got some cool ideas with something like that. Like I wanted to do something like a Cars version, but like Han Solo frozen in the carbonite.
Oh yeah. Oh, that
hangs on the wall.
That'd be really cool.
You know what I mean?
You're looking into other stuff,
dude. It's that ADD shit, bro. Like I got an idea for a table for like same thing with the Han Solo thing, but like looking like that block or whatever that hangs on the wall.
That's
but
cool.
like that with some stainless steel tubes with a glass top. It's like a table for like a man cave or some shit.
Like a coffee table, right? Yeah.
For those people who are into that, like I could make that, like make a little mold, bang that out.
So you can hit all different kinds of
interests. Oh yeah, it's just sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. It's just finding that. It's just like putting the time into doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know, like
it's already hard enough to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
With the time.
Yeah. But I think with the 3D printer, I'll be able to do a lot more creative stuff that will be able to do a little bit quicker than the whole CNCing process.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why I have an impulse to do this. Like, you remember, what the hell was that movie? Maximum Overdrive? Back in the day, the one with the big fucking goblin face on the front of the truck. You know?
Oh yeah. I never knew what that was. I know exactly.
Okay, so that's that movie, and I don't know why I have the impulse to like make that giant goblin face and hang it on the wall. I don't know why. Probably because I like the movie. I just saw somebody selling one of those on Facebook Marketplace too. It was like in the woods. Yeah. It was abandoned in like North Carolina or something. But I don't know why I have a random impulse to make that. I'm like, because I can. It'd be cool though, right? Like fucking walking, have the eyes lit up and shit.
God, I would have stuff all over my garage if I could do that.
Yeah, I'm going to. Like
so cool.
just randomness, you know.
The last question I got for you, for anybody that watches this video, what do you want them to get out of this video about you, about your business, your work ethic, anything like that? Like,
I mean, just want to get it out there. Like, if somebody has a vision for their car and that part's not available, we can make it. If they have one specific thing they want that's no longer made, we can duplicate it. Even it comes with a price. I'm very fair and reasonable with my pricing, but I do need to be paid for my time. I do have a family to support.
Yep.
Sometimes people forget that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the sky's the limit, pretty much. Endless possibilities. Like, can do anything.
So pretty much, if you need it or you can think of it, he can do it.
Yeah, and I can try to help you out with a better way of doing it that won't cost you way more money than it needs to cost you too. Like, look at it, the best approach to doing it. Like I said with the hoods, with like the making the vents and the louvers and stuff instead of replacing a whole hood. Same thing with fenders. I actually got a couple projects coming up with custom fender vents and stuff, so forth. And even like if someone has a certain theme to their car, like they're going with a yellow Kevlar and they only make regular carbon fiber splitters for the car. I can do the Kevlar. I can make them the custom design too as well. They could take part in that design too, and it's not going to be as cheap as what it would be on eBay, but it's not going to be crazy expensive that it's going to break the bank either for what you're getting.
And it's going to be original.
It's going to be original, one of a kind, tailor-made piece for your car that nobody else is going to have, and it's going to come with UV stable clear coat, wets in and above. It's not going to be some bullshit that you get for a couple $100. It turns green as soon as the sun hits it.
We know that you're super busy. You have a lot going on, working on cars, doing your family thing. You don't get a lot of time for yourself. We want to say thank you for giving us your time on this Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
I don't watch sports. It's all good.
Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you for everything you do within the car scene. People might not, see the big picture, but you do a lot. You're changing the game for everybody around. You're giving people the opportunity to be able to change the game, ordering one-offs and doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you're doing.
Pushing the
I
limit.
see what you're doing. Again, I've known you for almost 20 years. I know Jamie appreciates you supporting the car show. Anything that you can do to help us, we appreciate that. And we hope you nothing but success in the future.
So thanks for having us.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate
Thank
you
you,
guys
man.
coming through.
Strong in the trees, high.